Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Fishel, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the official daily weather update. An awful lot to talk about today, so we're going to jump right into it. That is the current weather map, and you see those couple of blue lines with triangles. Those are the leading edges of colder air, cooler air, anyways. And boy, what a dramatic change we're going to begin experiencing around supper time tomorrow night and lasting on into Friday, and actually through Friday. Okay, so let's go on ahead and take a look at the latest with the tropics, and there's a lot to talk about here. Clearly, you can see Fiona down there. It is a major, major hurricane now with maximum sustained winds at 130 miles per hour. If you're plotting at home, 25.6 north, 71.5 west, 615 miles southwest of Bermuda. Maximum sustained winds at 130, moving to the north now at 9 miles per hour. In fact, the longitude is actually decreased just a little bit, so it's actually moving a little bit east of due north. And the minimum pressure now at 937 millibars, or 27.67 inches of mercury. Here's a close-up view. Again, the reason the eye shows up so clearly on the infrared is that the infrared imagery is detecting the temperature of the clouds, the tops of the clouds. And so around the eye wall, those clouds are very, very, very cold, maybe minus 70, minus 80, minus 90 degrees C. But in the middle, there's either very little in the way of cloud cover or, in some cases, none. And the clouds that do exist do not extend very high up into the atmosphere, so they have a much warmer temperature at the top of them. And so that warmer temperature shows up as the eye. And boy, it shows up incredibly clearly on that particular image. All right, so the Hurricane Center forecast for Fiona, taking it off to the north and east and then recurving it back to the north. And again, the Canadian Maritimes are really going to have to watch this very carefully, as will Bermuda. Bermuda's on the stronger side of the storm, on the east side of it. And just a slight shift to the east could put them in the bullseye for this thing. At this particular point in time, the Hurricane Center has it, the center staying just north and west of it. But again, the effects of the hurricane go way beyond just the center. So obviously, folks in Bermuda really have to watch this very, very carefully. All right, now the tropical weather outlook. Look at this. 5 systems right now. The climatological peak of the hurricane season is September 10th. And I think this is the most systems we've had on a map so far this season. So we're about 10 days or 11 days behind in schedule. But the one that I've been talking about for a couple of days is the one that I am going to continue to focus on, and that's future Hermine. There's no question in my mind it will be named, just a matter of when. And it's going to be heading into the Caribbean Sea over the course of the next several days. Now, here are the National Hurricane Center models for what I call future Hermine. And you can see the range is all the way from missing all the land masses in the United States, well, the landmass in the United States, and heading out to sea. And the left extreme is taking it into the Yucatan Peninsula. And this, again, is for the next 7 days. Now, the European Ensemble, I'm going to take this 2 days at a time, okay? So these are all 51 Ensemble members, and this is on Friday, and so it doesn't intensify the system very much, crosses the island, moves into the Caribbean Sea. Then on Sunday, there's a couple of members that start to show up as green and blue, but no bombing out of this storm at this particular point in time. And then we start to see the spread and the intensification. More and more solutions are showing up as blue. And again, the range is from the middle of Cuba all the way down to the Yucatan Peninsula. And then next Thursday, which would be 8 days out, again, the spread from the Yucatan Peninsula all the way up to off the East Coast. At this point in time, none of the lines cross into North Carolina or Georgia or South Carolina. Then, 10 days out, there are some lines that do get into Georgia and the Carolinas. But look at the spread all the way from the middle of the Gulf of Mexico to crossing Cuba and going east of Florida and staying completely out to sea. Bottom line is, do we know what's going to happen with this thing? No. All right. Now, I thought you might be interested to see the difference in the operational models. These are the American model, the deterministic model, no ensembles, and the European deterministic model, no ensembles. Okay? So next Monday, okay, we're starting 5 days out, the GFS has a fairly potent storm down there in the southern Caribbean. The European, not as strong, and a little bit to the north and east. Then, by next Tuesday, the American model has the system very strong and bearing down on the Yucatan. The European model has it just south of the western tip of Cuba and not nearly as strong. By next Wednesday, the GFS model has it right at the northern tip of the Yucatan, weakening a little bit as it crosses land, and the European model has it just to the west of the Florida Keys. By the time we get to next Thursday, the GFS has it emerging from the Yucatan Peninsula, beginning to re-intensify and getting into the central Gulf of Mexico. The European, at the same time, has it over central Florida. Then, by next Friday, the GFS intensifying again into a major hurricane and right smack dab in the middle of the Gulf, while the European model now has the leftovers, if you will, of this storm right along the Georgia-Florida border. And then finally, 10 days out, the American model has a major hurricane bearing down on the central Gulf Coast, while the European has a weakening cyclone inland across Georgia and the Carolinas. You can't really get a whole lot different than that. Now, from a selfish standpoint, that European solution might be nice because not for the coast of Florida, certainly, but if it weakens, then we don't have to worry about the wind damage, but we could get some much-needed rain. So from that standpoint, this is probably the solution that we would want to root for, but I would never root for anything that's going to cause harm to any human life anywhere. All right, let's talk a little bit about our weather back here. This is my infamous spreadsheet, and this is from the GFS model. I'm calling it the GFS model timetable for Shangri-La. So you've got the times up here starting tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock and going hour by hour all the way up to Friday night. Here is the temperature here, the maximum temperature and the minimum temperature. Now, the GFS has been a little bit on the hot side during this entire spell, so I'm not going for 97 tomorrow, but I am sticking with my 94. It should be the hottest day of the spell so far. And, I accidentally hit that. Let's go back. And you can see here around 5 and 6 o'clock, it's printing out 1/100 of an inch of rain. I'm just mentioning, as I have for the last several days, just the chance of a stray shower as the front goes through. But if you want to know the timetable for this, all you have to do is look at these columns right here. At 5 o'clock, it has the temperature at 83, the dew point at 65, and at 6 o'clock, 80 and 60, almost 65. And then look at this. Drops 3 degrees, but the dew point drops 7. Temperature holds steady. Dew point drops another 8. And so this is when the front comes through. And you can also see it here, the wind direction, if you're familiar with the cardinal directions, west-southwest, west, 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 and then an abrupt shift to the northwest, and the wind speed really picks up by 6 o'clock. Northwest at 15, northwest at 14, north-northwest at 15, and those higher velocities last all the way in to Friday afternoon. So it appears late tomorrow afternoon, maybe sometime between 4 and 6. This is when the front's going to pass the triangle area. It'll be a little quicker up around Roxborough and a little slower down around Fayetteville and Clinton, but only by, an hour or two. And I would say by, 8 o'clock tomorrow night, the entire area will be experiencing that refreshing change to much, much cooler and less humid weather that will last all the way through Friday night and into Saturday. So here's our 7-day. Partly sunny, maybe a stray shower mid to late afternoon tomorrow with the passage of the front. I don't think all of you will see that, but some probably will. And then look at that. Mostly sunny, 20 degrees cooler on Friday at 74. A little warmer Saturday, but still very comfortable, and a nice morning low of 48. And the timetable for the next front has speeded up a little bit. So now it looks like Sunday afternoon and evening will afford us the best chance of seeing some showers. And I think the chance of that is a little bit better than our chance tomorrow. And then it doesn't cool off as much, but cools off a little bit Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with highs in the upper 70s and lows in the low to mid 50s. And, of course, if the system, future Hermine, if you will, decides to do something weird, then this is subject to change as we head toward the later part of next week. But this 7-day doesn't extend out that far, and so I don't have that reflected here. All right, so a lot to cover today. Probably going to be a lot to cover in the coming days. And so we'll keep you updated, and I will send along updates via text and pictures as well so that you can really keep up with what's going on with not only our change to cooler weather, but also what's going on in the tropics and any possible impacts on the U.S. Okay, that's it for now. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday evening, and we will talk to you tomorrow.